In a concerning development, 10 people have been injured in a stampede at the Bandra Railway Station. The incident took place in the wee hours at dawn when there was a rush to board the Bandra-Gorakhpur Express at platform number 1. The express is a 22-bogie unreserved train running every Sunday at 5:15 a.m. This morning, amidst chaos at the terminus, passengers tried to enter the train when it was in motion. This is what resulted in the stampede. Spine-chilling scenes from the station went viral. A video showing a cop taking an injured passenger on his shoulder. Another video showed two men whose clothes are covered with blood stains lying on the floor. A third showed two people arriving at the scene running with a stretcher. And yet another video shows a man who looks visibly in pain sitting on a bench. Out of the 10 people injured, 5 were admitted, while 3 injured have been discharged and 2 others who were seriously injured have been shifted to the KEM Hospital for further treatment. Amidst all of this, what requires attention is the fact that there is a surge in crowds this festive season, and obviously we need better crowd management, and who will take responsibility for this incident is the big question. Joining us live at this point, Radhalakshmi Joshi, political analyst. Also with us is Naveen Chomal, senior Supreme Court lawyer. Prempal Sharma, former Executive Director, Railway Board, is live with us. Major General J.K. Bansal, former member NDMA, also joins us live. Prempal Sharma, this is a very shocking incident that took place in Mumbai. What do you make of what went wrong?
Oh no, it was really a very, very sad affair that every year, despite we know that on Diwali there is a heavy pressure, why some steps were not taken. But now question is, there is a two kinds of madness. No doubt with this failure of railways, and not only the railway, the failure of our system also, that police, and why we could not. But question is that sometimes the people going to their relative places, they also become like crazy to board train. Every day we are having many trains and some special trains are also there. So, but I admit that something went wrong with the rail.
Yes. Radhalakshmi Joshi, at the end of the day, of course, it is political season in Maharashtra as well. Will such an issue be taken up by anyone? This is an issue which obviously affects the public. These are the issues that need to be spoken about more. But will it, Radhalakshmi Joshi?
Yes, Uday. It's very sad that this kind of an incident happening. And to add to it, it is as if to add insult to injury. There is a lot of politics over it. So, now what I can see is in these kind of stampedes, it is usually either due to indiscipline of the people or maybe there is a trigger. So here right now there was a trigger, like as you rightly mentioned, people have started boarding the train. They have tried to do that even before the train had stopped and when the doors were closed. So then that caused some injury, and then that was the trigger for the entire stampede. So thankfully, there were no casualties as such, and there were injuries. But even an injury is something that definitely, it is something like a warning that such incidents cannot and should not happen in the future, because then now in the next few weeks we are going to have a whole lot of people trying to travel for either Diwali or Chhath Puja, and so from different places, not just in Bandra. So all of this is definitely something to be looked into. So now, there were these questions coming up, horrifyingly. Some of the political parties always keep mocking the railway minister, saying that he is more interested in Vande Bharat trains, he is more interested in flagging of trains, and he is not interested in the safety of the passengers. See, now what appalls me is that both are two different issues. Are the passengers not expected to have better trains, better facilities? Should that not be there at the on the table at all? So, the safety is definitely a very crucial issue. And see, this here, it was clearly a case of indiscipline, because there were too many people on a platform that was supposed to accommodate 1,000 people at the max. There were more than 2,500 people. And, it is not as if the railways have not actually accommodated for this increase in the number of people traveling. So, if you look at it, the minister, he has clearly said that they are going to be running 6,000 special trains this festive season. In fact, it is quite more than from the 4,400 trains that were there last year. And this is expected to accommodate more than 1 crore people. And also they have added additional general coaches to 108 trains, and 12,500 coaches have been sanctioned to take care of the extra rush. So it is not as if, the railways is not doing anything about this. From the point of view of the accidents, that is a different issue altogether. That is a case of the Kavach. So the Kavach there again, it is a huge mammoth task like we have discussed in the past. So now this year is about adding new trains. So, I think that the people also should be a little more sensitive about how, they should be actually approaching all these issues. The train had reached the platform 2 hours before the scheduled time. So it was not as if people did not have enough time and that they should have been in a hurry to board it, otherwise it will go away in 5 minutes. It was there 2 hours before the scheduled time. So, and within that time, even before the train reaches the platform, people start rushing inside. So, it is a very scary situation where I can imagine that, what will happen to the families? How can families ever hope to travel in such a situation? So I think that, this is something that definitely needs to be taken care of, obviously, at all the different points, because it is not as if there is only one point from where people are going to be going to their native towns. So this, I think, is something that, all political parties should not add fuel to the fire. And they should definitely look at it in a much more mature way and not make insensitive or immature statements like, oh, you are only interested in adding to Vande Bharat trains. So what will happen is more and more people will be agonized, more and more people will be agitated, and it will only cause much more
Right.
agitations on the platform.
Right. Naveen Chomal, let me quickly draw you in here. Naveen Chomal, what SOPs are needed which should be immediately drawn up and implemented? What are perhaps some SOPs that are there but obviously are not being implemented on ground, as incidents like this repeatedly show us?
I am fully in consonance with what Rajlakshmi ji said just now, but I am always a supporter of the government, and that we must, as citizens, always support the good work of the government. This type of incidents do keep on happening. Despite that, I would firstly like to say that kindly appreciate that our nation wants to become the Vishwaguru and an example for the Western world, where the world is watching us. And any such small incidents also that carries a negative impression of our country. So I would definitely support the government, but of course at the same time request the government to firstly take into account the large rush. So I think one of the factors that needs to be done is, of course it's my suggestion, the railways knows their job better than me, but it's my suggestion that the number of trains should be increased. One of the factors which caused the huge rush and then ultimately the stampede was that there was so much of crowd eager to go to their native place owing to the vacation. So that's why there was excitement, whatever may be thing. Of course, it is also a sad fact, which we regret to say that our own people, despite the government doing so much good for them, still they don't have proper civic sense. And as Raj Lakshmi ji very rightly pointed out, that despite the train having arrived at the platform in proper time, 2 hours before that, still the crowd was unnecessarily unruly, which ultimately led to the stampede. But of course, be that as may, our people may take some time for cultivate good culture. But still, our government also must now take into account that this incident may occur. So, if possible, increase the number of trains that may, ease the traffic on the human traffic on the railway platforms that may avoid such incidents. And ultimately, my eyes are on the gallery abroad. Our nation should always carry a great impression that today's Bharat is a totally developed Bharat, and not only that we are having world-class trains like Vande Bharat, which we are going to increase in number also, but at the same time, our platform management is also world standard. So, of course, we are getting images of various railway platforms which are actually of world international standard. So, let us now urge our government, our support for giving us better facilities.
Right. Let me quickly draw in Major General J.K. Bansal. Major General J.K. Bansal, why are such incidents occurring again and again? Why is crowd management something that India just cannot get right? Why do we see incidents like this continue to happen? In this incident, of course, thankfully, so far there are no casualties. It could have been far worse. Why are such incidents, repeatedly occurring in our country?
Good evening, Uday. You have asked a very good question. And these repeated incidents, if you know, if it means the stampede is such a disaster which can be prevented. And we have seen in the month of July, there was a stampede and religious gathering in Hathras. But if we specifically talk about the railways, in 2023 also in the November, there was in Surat, such kind of stampede was there, the 2 people died. And 2010, there was a stampede in New Delhi station where the 5 people died. And in 2004 also in the New Delhi railway station, there was the 3 people who died. And most important thing is in 2017, in Mumbai itself, while on a pedestrian bridge from one railway station to another railway station, there was a stampede. 22 people died and 32 injured. Now, I will tell you, I would like to say here and emphasize very strongly that the railway department has to do the study and has to learn lesson learned. Here, very important thing and point which I want to tell and convey through your channel to the railway department, to the whole country, that what is the root cause? Root cause is there is the insecurity in the mind of passenger. What is to be done? Then there should not be any unreserved compartment. Everybody who is traveling must have a ticket with a seat. And once a person knows that he is having a seat, there is a sense of security, and nobody would like to rush once because there is a sense of insecurity. And why? We are increasing the train, then why there should be the more number of the people? There should be a crowd with people going without seats, and even at time they are traveling on the roof. So this is what we are calling that, yes, we are increasing number of trains, then there should be the better management, and better management could only be possible specifically in the railway, that you issue the ticket, give the seat number, and maybe mention that yes, train will be for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, so that the passenger knows, and he knows that yes, he has to go into particular. Now, I was just going through some article that yes, the unreserved bogies are there, mostly 2 bogies or 2 compartments each and every train, and then the tickets are issued up to the last. When somebody is going in the running train, this kind of thing will happen. So the only thing which I feel is the most important is the reservation. So the railway department has to do the study, and they must plan for it, that yes, without reservation, nobody should be allowed to enter. And at the entry point itself, if the ticket is shown, then only the people who are traveling should come over there. And then, of course, there should be some restriction for the luggage also, that in the compartment people are taking too much of luggage, then there is a hurry also. So there should be some kind of control need to be there, because it's a human tendency. We can't blame public, because yes, as somebody said that we have to be more sensitive, more sensible. But it is a sense of insecurity. Once there is a security, then nobody does these kind of things. So that's what I just would like to convey, that yes, that is very important, that one has to be issued ticket. Back to you.
And this is holiday time, Prempal Sharma. Perhaps extra trains should have been run. Perhaps, this should have been thought through earlier, that there is going to be festive rush. There is every year. Why not increase demand? If there is, of course, why not increase supply, beg your pardon, if there is increased demand?
I just heard all my participants and very good suggestions from everybody. Now, I would utilize this forum as rightly. Why don't you feel that there should be some discipline in the why such incident never happens in South India and in other part? Why? Insecurity that maybe, but they have some sense of that. Whatever number of supply you.
No, there have been stampedes in the south as well. That's incorrect.
No, that maybe, but incidents more are on this side. Now let me repeat again. Railway is not like sky or open. There is a track is there. We are having 6,000 trains, special trains are there. So now the more important is festivals are very important. But whether life is more important or festival is some years back, the same happened in Delhi station. Whatever supply, there are millions lakhs of people. They want to do in.
So it's very easy to blame the passengers, but at the end of the day, Prempal Sharma, were there officials, were there extra officials on ground who were instructing the passengers where to go, where not to go? Were lines being created or not? That is again a big question. Of course, passengers at the end of the day have to behave in a obedient manner, but are there officials there who are actually queuing them up, who are actually asking them to follow the SOPs? It's very easy to blame the passenger, but they are the ones who got injured in this case.
No, that's not the passenger. This is a soft democracy. Now we allow them everybody in the airport. Do we allow everybody? Now anybody, so now that restriction, as our Major General has suggested, if we restricted only the reservation, that's the one. Second is this priority that why Chhath and Diwali is so important, because now we should know that there is always capacity, that railways run on the tracks. There is whatever number of trains you have, then we have to take care of the safety. I am not blaming, passengers are not to be blamed, but we have to maintain some discipline, some sensitivity. They will not follow any rule when the 2 hours before train is there. So now my advice to the public is that during such holiday or such a festival, they should have some discipline. That is the only way out. And railway also should have some restriction that nobody should enter platform beyond the point. That is my suggestion. Thank you.
PK Jain, former ADGP Mumbai, also joins us now on the broadcast. PK Jain, what do you make of this incident? What went wrong at the Bandra terminus which has resulted in this incident?
Good evening, Uday. I think the panelists before me have by and large specified everything. The only thing I can think of is that the train was, I'm told that all the 20 or 25 compartments were unreserved. They were general compartments. So the people rushed to the platform in large numbers, thinking that they could probably, first come, first served, they could get into, and that's why a lot of crowd gathered there and there was a stampede. So I think what went wrong was the non-reservation part of it, free access to the people to come to the platform and board the train at the last minute, and absence of crowd control and containment of people by the authorities there. Every year, it happens year after year that a large number of people go to UP and Bihar for at this festive season. This should have been, this should have been prejudged. Some arrangement should have been made to ensure that this kind of an incident does not happen. I think somewhere the authorities have failed in this. That's how I look at it. I think it should have been more regulated. It should have been better controlled. More manpower in terms of officials should have been there at the spot.
Okay. Let me, take that across to Radhakshmi Joshi as well. Radhakshmi Joshi, who should be tasked with making these changes now to ensure that such incidents do not repeat?
There are definitely some committees which actually make all these suggestions. So, I think that, all these forums, these citizens forums, I think, they can put across all these points. I think that, this discussion, I think it is a very insightful discussion where, there was this excellent suggestion that you should not have unreserved coaches as far as possible, because yes, it does create a sense of insecurity that people are not sure if they will definitely get a seat or not. So that definitely could add to the kind of anxiety and added to the fact that there are much more number of people there on the platform. So looking at the crowd, it could have caused some kind of insecurity. But I just wanted to add a couple of points, like on your question to the previous panelists. Like I was telling you earlier, some 1,500 new trains have been added over the number for last year, Uday. And over and above that, there were definitely the presence of RPF and GRP and Home Guard. All those personnel were definitely there. But we have been talking about, definitely I think that the numbers should have been much more. So I hope that, in the future and in the days to come, that the number will be increased. And at the same time, people also will be a little more cautious about how to go about for these holidays. Because a holiday is something that, you should go with caution and not put your life at stake. So thankfully, there were no casualties. But then at the same time, I think that, one has to look at it as something that it has to be a time for celebration, not some time of a tragedy. So this, I think, looking at all of that, the number of trains also have been increased. At the same time, the railways also surely have to look at the timetables of the trains. They have to fit in a whole lot of things. So, in the middle of all of that, I'm sure that they are also trying to do the best. But I would only request the politicians not to mock the Indian Railways for all the better trains and the better facilities that are being added, and only question the railways for the security point of view, from the platform management or from the tracks, etc. So, that kind of a narrative where you're mocking the Vande Bharat train, I think that that is a very wrong narrative, talking about how only the rich are being empowered, or, they are being given better facilities. I think that is a very wrong narrative. So looking at the security, I think everybody needs security. Everybody needs all these facilities. So I think that, all of this has to be taken into consideration, and I'm sure that the railways will definitely come up with some better things in the days to come, and maybe in the years to come. Hopefully, we will have a much better railway system. So that I'm looking at it with a lot of hope, Uday. And at the same time, I wish all your viewers.
All right,
very
Naveen Chomal,
happy
come in here on, of course, what now the action plan must be immediately to ensure no more such incidents this festival season, and of course in the future as well.
Yes, basically, as rightly pointed out by our senior bureaucrat PK Jain sir, he understands the administration far better than people like me. So he very rightly pointed out that just as our Major General Bansal said, that there should not be what you say open compartments, but there should be a reservation for all the ticket buyers, that they should be ensured a ticket. So in that case, what happens, as PK Jain has pointed out, that psychological factor is there, that anxiety is there, that first come first serve. I may get that seat or a place to sit or put my luggage. So that is where people tend to what you say trample on each other, and then that leads to stampede. So first of all, we must urge or support our government to start more number of trains. That only will ease the traffic, and then we have also seen that the government may be very good in its policies, but at times the implementation by the staff, the certain officers, they are at times very callous at their work. So there should be a proper deployment of the officials, people to guide the passengers, the security people, to ensure that they don't rush, they don't, what you say, trample on each other. So that is what should have been done in place. So had the railway been more, what you say, anticipating that this type of rush will be there, and that may lead to some tragedy, they should have deployed more staff over there. So I am not criticizing our government, but it's my suggestion, and we must always, there is always scope for improvement. So we must always urge our government through this esteemed platform of your NewsX channel, that please be more alert to what may happen in the time of rushes. Please increase the number of trains. That is the need of the hour, so that people
All right.
get place to stay.
All right, closing comments,
We
General
don't treat
Bansal.
them like cattle.
Closing comments, General Bansal.
Security, once the ticket is issued and there is a seat, there is a security. At the same time, one knows that how many people are going to come. If it is without any reservation, there may be capacity in a particular unreserved compartment, maybe for 100, there may be 200 people, then they will go standing. Secondly, if there is a reservation, then the people, the traveler will stagger their journey, that yes, we are not getting ticket, so we go a day before, a day after. They will plan within time of week, this period of time. While now they feel that yes, on the last moment, last day we go, and it's everybody try to go on a particular time. So that will ease out so many problems. This is the main, I think 80% of the problem will be solved by making reservation, and the message will go to everybody, yes, if we are getting seat, then only we'll go, and they will try to plan it well in advance. That's what I want.
All right. Last word to you, PK Jain, before we close.
See, I don't have any more suggestion than this, that as very rightly pointed out, it's a long journey to Bihar and Eastern UP. The train should have been reserved. Everybody should have known that they can go on this train only if they have a confirmed reservation in hand. Then some people still try to take chance, so the number would have been much smaller. And second is that we should have crowd control should have been much better. Instead of allowing unlimited number of people on the platform, there should have been some check at the gates where from where the people are allowed to enter the platform. I mean, this becomes a painful journey for everybody. What happens is that in a compartment which can hold only 64 passengers, if you have 120 passengers, you can imagine that the people who get the berth and the people who do not get the berth and want to travel with all the discomfort, it becomes a very, very painful journey. It should have been very rightly appreciated by the authorities, and some arrangements of that kind, number one, reservation, number two, crowd control, should have been put in place.
All right, let's leave it at
Thank you very
that.
much.
My thanks to all of our guests for joining us on this discussion.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.